You may be a retail grocery store manager, produce manager, or a coordinator of a farmer's market. If so, you realize customer interest in purchasing locally grown produce is increasing. This lesson will discuss how you can ensure the produce you purchase from local growers is handled and stored safely. Locally grown produce can benefit your store in many ways. Produce purchased locally may be fresher and offer better quality because it can get from the farm to the store so quickly. Consumers may also feel a connection with local producers. Still, no matter where it comes from, foodborne illness is a concern when it comes to produce. Millions of people experience some form of foodborne illness each year. Most cases are so mild they never get reported, but other cases are serious enough to result in a visit to the doctor, hospitalization, even death. It is important that you know where your produce comes from and how produce safety is maintained. Do you have written policies for buying from a local farm, local auction, or farm market? Wherever you make the purchase, produce needs to be purchased from an approved supplier. Does your supplier have a food safety plan for good agricultural practices? Some questions to ask the seller. Is the water used for washing hands, equipment, or produce drinkable water? Is the water used slightly warmer than the produce being washed? This helps with the removal of soil and microorganisms from the product surface. Is manure used in the produce field? If so, it should be spread no closer than 120 days before harvest, and farmers should watch for runoff from fields nearby. Has compost been used on the field? If so, it needs to have been properly composted and tested. Are employees following good personal hygiene practices by washing hands and changing clothing and boots between livestock areas and produce areas? They also must wash hands after using the bathroom and stay away from work when they're sick. Is harvested produce packed in new boxes? If not, the container used must be designed to be reusable and be cleaned and sanitized between uses. Are all packing containers labeled with the pack date and the grower number for traceability? Finally, ask to see production records. The records should include the farm's name, the person responsible for food safety, as well as picking, spraying, harvesting, and other essential packing and testing procedures done on the farm. Once you receive the produce at your store or the produce is at the farmer's market, there are special handling considerations. Most produce comes into the store as whole uncut produce. Farmers markets cannot sell cut-up produce unless they are licensed to do so. Many fruits and vegetables have a short shelf life and therefore need to be stored in a cool environment as quickly as possible. Store produce in a place that has relatively low humidity and is kept at 50 degrees to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Each fruit and vegetable has its own handling and storage requirements. In the training materials that accompany this lesson, you will find specific guidelines for more than 24 fruits and vegetables. Before handling fresh fruits and vegetables, be sure to follow good personal hygiene rules. This starts before coming to work by making sure you bathe or shower daily, washing thoroughly with soap and warm water. A clean, neat appearance is also important for food safety and good customer relations. Since our hands are our tools when working with food, another area of concern is hand hygiene. Our skin is a natural place for bacteria. The goal of hand washing is to remove germs. Hand washing isn't all that complicated, but does require some special attention. Depending on your job, you may have to wash your hands several times during normal work hours. Follow good hand washing procedures. If you need a refresher or have employees or producers who need to know more, refer to the lesson on hand washing. If you're at a site with no running water available, a portable hand washing station can be made by using a large cooler with a spigot. Place a bucket under the spigot to catch the wastewater. Hand antiseptics or hand sanitizers should not be used in place of hand washing. Produce can also be contaminated by your hands after you eat, drink, or smoke. All of these activities can transfer microorganisms from your mouth to your hands, and then from your hands to the food you touch. Refrain from these activities when handling produce. If you're licensed to sell produce cut up or served in a ready-to-eat form, it needs to be washed. Washed produce in clean, running water, which is slightly warmer than the temperature of the produce. No special washing agents are required. Follow the guidelines for cross-contamination when preparing produce and storing produce. Separate items that could contaminate other items. For example, don't store produce next to raw meats or under raw meat in the cooler. Use clean, food-safe containers, which are covered for storage. Cut produce always requires time and temperature control for safety. Store at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or lower for safe storage. Keep all countertops, tabletops, utensils, and other food contact surfaces clean and sanitized before and after use. If purchasing juice from a local supplier, make sure it has been pasteurized or otherwise treated for safety. Or, be sure it bears a warning label that states, "This product has not been pasteurized." Providing fresh, locally grown produce benefits your store, your community, and your customers. By following these food safety guidelines when selecting and handling produce, you can rest assured that you're providing your customers the freshest, safest produce possible.